All right, welcome back to Golf Subpar with Colt, Knost, and Drew Stoltz. Sleaze, as always, you look fantastic. Your RLX gear over there. Nice little cashmere hoodie. I got the shirt on. We still got some nice weather here in Scottsdale.
It's warmed
still
up.
Got the short sleeves on.
It's warmed up, but I'm in cashmere zone. You know what I mean? Look good, play good. I'm warm. I'm fast. I'm everything.
You look comfortable.
That's
the most important.
That's the way I like to live.
And nobody does it better than RLX. Get the cashmere hoodie, sweater vest, everything. The holiday season is approaching, and the RLX Ralph Lauren Holiday Collection, made for the course, designed for your lifestyle. Perfect gifts for this holiday season for him and her. The RLX Collection is available in select Ralph Lauren stores, exclusive private clubs and resorts, and online at ralphlauren.com. Sleaze, I'm playing hurt today, dog.
You look really good.
We had a
If I can give you a compliment.
Yeah. Listen, life's short. You're supposed to enjoy it. Just had a little trip down to Cabo. Pros and Joes. Shout out to my man, Jay Beckman. We had ourselves a hell of a time down there, battled. And then, much of us decided it was a good idea to head on over to Las Vegas for Chris Stapleton and the King George Strait concert.
I think it is a good idea to always just pop
Seemed
in
like
there. It's been
time.
a while since you'd been there.
Yeah.
About 14 days or so since we were last there. But you look good. You sound even better. This feels like post Phoenix Open week.
Yeah.
Like when we come back and just can't talk, and it's like, yeah, sorry guys.
It was a session, but it was
happens.
a lot of fun. Couldn't say no to going to seeing the King. And then decided to stay an extra night for some reason and came home this morning. So here we are.
Here we are. I'll tell you what you missed, or maybe you got to see it down there. Scotty Scheffler's still winning golf tournaments by 6, by the way, and he just decided to try out a new putting grip. Let's just see if this works here. There's only 20 guys. Maybe test a few things. Oh, third strokes game putting, win by 1 million. I feel like we're running out of things to say about Scotty Scheffler when he wins every week. We can run through all the stats. He's at the top or near the top in all of them. Now he's starting to putt good. He's making more putts, 10 feet-ish. And it's a huge problem for everybody else not named Scotty Scheffler.
There was a reason he was plus 190 at the start of the week, which
That's
I thought was
unbelievable.
ridiculous. And he goes out and he shoots 25 under. Taylor Montgomery actually went down there and played the Pro-Am on Wednesday. He texted me yesterday. He goes, dude, Scotty is a joke. He goes, that place is not that easy. He goes, to shoot 25 under down there is just ridiculous.
Tied the scoring record, setting records all the time. Back-to-back wins there, back-to-back at the Players. It's just like, if you're one of the other top guys, there's all top guys at that event. And you see, I'm not saying everybody's in mid-season form. There's guys that have taken some time off. It had been 2 months since Scotty had played, but he obviously is still pretty good. But if you're looking at this and just the whole last year, you're like, how do I shrink the gap? Because the gap is massive right now. If he putts close to what he did this past week in Bermuda, at the Bahamas next year, he could do it again. He just won his 9th.
9 times.
9 times. I mean, yeah, we saw plus 190 starting the week. I was like, is that a joke? I'd rather bet a college football game money line. There's only 2 teams, and
we know you're going to do that.
Wrong. Well, of course I am. Yeah. But the 190 sounds like they know what they're doing.
Congratulations to Scotty, though. Just unbelievable. What a year it has been for him. And I don't think he's going to be slowing down anytime soon. It's just, the man does not miss the center of the club face.
Nope. Hits it perfect. Now putting it good. Drives it straight. Yeah, we can say the same things over and over, but until something happens, he's going to sit on the top of that throne for a long time. I mean, he could probably not play for most of the year and still be number 1 in the world. He's got that big of a gap.
Speaking about hitting the center of the face, tell me about your little grass clippings. I got several texts. You and your man, Drew Kittleson, 4-ball partner.
Yeah.
Went out there for the Minnesota Muskies, and a lot of people were very excited to inform me that y'all made a double bogey in the scramble.
The double heard around the world. Wow. I never got more texts from like just one shitty hole in my life, but it's pretty special what we did. 130, here's the hole. 137 yards to the flag, back pin.
Tough yardage.
143 back edge, stock pitching wedge for me. Same for Drew Kittleson as well. By the way, keep in mind, he and I have played hundreds and hundreds of holes together in best ball, not scramble, on real golf courses, hitting drivers, long irons, all this stuff. And we've made very few even bogeys. We've never made a double bogey in the history of all of that. We could make it through 18 holes of par 3 golf in a scramble with that one. So he hits it first, about 20, 25 feet left, see the ball land, bounce, and then it gets kind of hard to see because the lights are on the green. So if it just goes over, you can't really tell where it is. One of the guys like, oh yeah, just off the back edge, maybe back fringe. Okay, all right, I go. I hit one, probably 10 feet left of it, trying to get it back to the flag, give ourselves a good look. I see it land, bounce, kind of the same thing. Like, that's probably just over the back. Okay, cool. We get up there, walking up, looking for the balls, look over where I think Kitty's is, don't see anything, and I kind of keep walking, look up over the hill, see if mine's right back there behind the flag. No balls. And I was like, buddy.
break.
All of a sudden, there's a dude about 52 yards away with his phone light on, like flashing it. He's like, there's two right here. We go down there. There they are. If you hit it long on that green, apparently, it's all dormant Bermuda. It's straight downhill. Then there's a cart path, and then there's desert. So the ball does not stop rolling for quite some time. And from there, we smashed it onto the green at about a 30-footer for par. Missed it to about 2.5 feet, and then both missed the 2.5-footer for a crowd-pleasing 5. And we just looked at each other like, what just happened?
Did the 5 make the TV coverage?
I don't know if they have enough time to cover it. Took a while. 5 in a scramble.
I'm going to have to go back and look at this.
That's the real deal. Our wedges went, this 37-yard hole, our wedges went about 190. Both of them. Just rolling and rolling and rolling. Could have been lost balls, by the way. I could have just picked them up.
How was the event in general?
It was fun. It was way more of a production than I thought. Like, there's a bunch of people out there. They had music at night, concerts, some country music. They had like a golf simulator out there, activation stations, food. It was a whole like hang. Like, the golf would end, and then people just hang for a long time. And while you're out there, there's certain holes, kind of like, I mean, it's not 16 at the Phoenix Open, but it's like certain holes, like these are the holes where people are and they go crazy. And dude, it was a hell of a lot of fun. Our boy Benny Herman brought out a live alligator the second day, along with a donkey that carried around drinks. That was a nice feature as well. But dude, they did a hell of a job, and the golf was good. 19 under, won that thing. Like, we played nice. We played pretty good the second day. Shot 10 under. And 19 won the thing. So, I mean, you got to go both days. And it was awesome. I think they're planning on 4 next year at various places throughout the country. And it seems to be picking up steam. It was a hell of a good time. Shout out Grass Clippings for putting awesome. That on.
And also, we can't ignore this little moment here. SMU Mustangs, tough loss against Clemson, but they got in there. They're in the college football playoff sleaze, going up against the Penn State Nittany Lions.
How do we feel about that matchup?
I think we're going to kill them.
Kill them in Happy Valley.
We're going to kill them.
Up there in the snow.
8.5 point underdogs.
Disrespect?
I agree.
Disrespect? How do you feel about the deal, about the bracket overall? First year with 12.
Yeah, I think they're going to make some tweaks to it. Like, do I think Boise State's the 3rd best team in the country? No. The run Arizona State's been on is amazing. I wish they would just give the top 4 teams the bye instead of the conference winners. But we'll see what happens going forward. I'm just happy my pony's got a shot.
They got a shot. And I think the right 12 teams are in. I know Bama had a beef, but 3 losses, tough to reward that, especially with Oklahoma and Vanderbilt. And then I think they got the right 12 teams, but I think the seedings are skewed as well. And I think Oregon got screwed the most. The unanimous number 1, been that way for the whole season, not even in question. And I feel like they got like the toughest draw off the bye.
Yeah.
Tennessee or Ohio State. Meanwhile, Boise's got an easier path. So I think they'll tweak it, but I do 12. We're going to get home games at colleges for playoffs. It's going to be sick.
It's going to be awesome. I was really sneaky hoping the ponies drew your dad's Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
So was he.
That would have been fun.
So was he. He was begging for that. And there's nothing that man loves more than Notre Dame football.
If they could somehow go up there and beat Penn State, they will be in the Fiesta Bowl right down the road here.
Are we going?
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's good juju in that. There's good juju in that stadium.
Yeah.
Good juju.
By the way, I met your old ball coach, Sonny Dykes, down at El Dorado this weekend.
Did you tell me 8-4 ain't good enough?
How much y'all paying this guy?
I know. Luckily, it had wrapped up recruiting, or I'd have a big issue with it. But yeah, dude, just look, enjoy your time down there, Sonny. Maybe refresh, but 8-4. Don't get comfortable with 8-4. Everyone loves him, by the way.
Yeah, he's a good time. But yeah, I'm excited, man. Football's the sad thing is it's almost over.
I know. We start to get to like the bowl season starts to get depressing.
Yeah.
But at least we get more play. Normally it's just, the 4 teams, 2 games that like really, really matter. Now we got some more. We got a couple weeks. Yeah. Get it figured out.
All right. Well, let's get to this week's guest because this is a special one. We've been wanting to have him in. Didn't have the best year on the golf course, but the man just clutched up big time at the RSM Classic. Final round 64 to keep his card. Joel Dahmen joins us on Golf Subpar.
This is a special one. We've been waiting on this one for a while. This calls for a little celebration. I'm gonna get me a little 9 milli peppermint here, Zone Nicotine Pouch, in honor of our guy Joel Dahmen. Here he is. Okay, folks, with us today, we have a man coming off one of the most clutch final round performances in the history of golf, some could argue. Final round 64 at the RSM to lock up number 124 on the FedEx Cup and full exempt card for next year. Giving us all a heart attack along the way, by the way. Joel Dahmen is here, and it is a pleasure.
I'm happy to be back, boys. And I've been dodging this bullet for a long time, but here I am, settled down. Felt like we have something to talk about again, and man, the holidays are a lot better having a job next year.
You didn't want to go to Florida and play Q school? Sounds kind of neat.
Did that feel pretty? Yeah, it sound cool. Just in some cold wind down there, grinding it out.
Sounds like I didn't want to be a part of that. So I'm happy that I'm here in Scottsdale in 75 and enjoying friends and family.
You got. Sorry, I was just say you got to feel like 1,000-pound weight has been lifted off you, because I like, of course, the last week got all the pub, and you need to make the cut first and then play well on the weekend. But it doesn't just start then for you and like your family and your caddy's family. Like, at what point were you starting to feel stressed?
Missed cut at Bermuda, so the week prior, because the week before Bermuda in Mexico, I finished top 15. I think would have been nice to get a little bit better there because that would have freed me up. But the miscut in Bermuda, and I'm by myself. My family's not traveling with me at the time, and it's like Huskies. I remember the Huskies played Friday night against UCLA, and I'm having some beers with the guys, and you wake up, so now you're hungover by yourself in Bermuda. Mm-hmm. You want to get off this island, and then like everything starts to hit. You're like, man, I got 1 week left, and I'm gonna be, wherever that dust settled, it's gonna be around 125, and I knew I needed a big week, and yeah, it all kind of hit me that weekend. And I was like, oh crap, we got to buckle down. We got 4 rounds of golf to play, and if you play them solid, you're going to be fine.
Take us through the week, though, at RSM, because I've been in that position before. Like, you basically feel like you're going to puke all week long. Mm-hmm. It sucks because it all comes down to that. You're like, I had all year to handle this.
I had 27, 8, 30 events, whatever it is. I had all year to not be in this position, and here you are. And I tried to reframe it into, like, I have an opportunity to keep my job. Like, an opportunity, like all you ever want is to be on the PGA Tour, really. And that's like, and I've been fortunate enough to not be in that position the prior 7 years outside of my rookie year. So everything was just kind of cruise control for a long time. And this year wasn't that way. But I just tried to reframe that week into, a lot of people wish they were in my spot right now. There's 100 guys behind me that would beg for this position, and all the guys on the Corn Ferry and all the guys on the mini tours, whatever it is, like. So I tried to reframe it in my head that way, but I slept less that week than I ever have, and I've had my wife and kid there, thankfully, which helped a ton, but it's just a little bit uneasy. Everyone like doesn't talk as much to you. They kind of like give you space. It's not as it's just not as much fun. It's I compared it to a pitcher throwing a no-hitter. Mm. All of a sudden, like there's just room around you at all times, and you're like, oh crap.
Like on the range before, I got to think people, because there's some people that are locked up. They're there. Oh, I'll play one more event. The family's here, have a good time. They're happy as clams. And there's certain dudes like, don't look at me, don't talk to me. Like this is for everything. Yeah, and that's a tough spot to be in.
It was. So my coach Robert Shell came out as well. We stayed with Ryan and Chelsea Brim, which is kind of a standard week. So and it's RSM's one of our favorite weeks. We love Sea Island. The food's amazing. It's just kind of a slow moving week. Everything involved in that. So that was really nice. But yeah, it was just kind of like time was just crawling by. I wanted, like, you just want to get the ball rolling, and you just want to play. And when you show up on Monday to get a little extra work in, it's like, I got 3 more days to like be thinking about this, and I'm not really working on my swing as much. I'm not really doing anything. You're just trying to like mentally prepare as much as physically prepare.
Yeah, it sucks. There's no doubt about it. But Saturday night, did you have a score in mind? Like, hey, I got to go out and shoot 65 probably to get this done?
It was one of those deals. Like, I actually didn't really look at too much of a leaderboard all week. I knew that I needed probably a top 40 for sure, and obviously, depending on how other people play, probably better than that. And I had a moment where I actually went to sleep okay, but I woke up in the middle of the night and I couldn't sleep, and I was like head spinning. So first time in my career, I went on to Tour Links. I clicked on some FedEx stuff and I started scrolling around figuring out how many points I needed and what I needed to pass. Because there was, I think Sam Valimaki was at like one. He was like, I knew if I got enough points to pass him, I was fine.
This was in the middle of the night?
Yeah,
This is like 3
4 in the
a.m.
morning.
That's
This is-
incredible.
I probably went to bed I probably fell asleep around 10 and I woke up at 2 or 3 and like, I wouldn't say like night sweats, but kind of like
Just freak out.
freakouts.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I wasn't going back to sleep at that point. There was no chance. So I was like,
And you got on Tour Links and started scrolling
I
like
had
how
to
many.
know.
I
had
don't
to
know
know.
shit about sports psychology or anything, but I gotta think like if you told
That
that to
ain't
that'd be like this is the last thing on the planet that you do like 8 hours before you tee off and
Right.
start scrolling through
also,
to see
in a
all
weird
the points.
way, like I knew what I had to do at that point. And then you're looking at the leaderboard and you're kind of scrolling like, okay, the wind's down. It's not that hard of a golf course. I'm like, I probably need 6, 5 would be close. 7 is definitely a lock for me. So I knew going out that morning I needed birdies, and that was the last thing I give a fist pump or a fist pound to Rob. I go, let's go make birdies, and he goes, just go be you. And I was like, well, me this year is 124.
What about just a little bit better than
Yeah,
me?
a little
Not better
better.
than me, but just
Let's
like a
tap
few
into
better.
a different Joel. Let's tap into the Joel who's had a nice career and is successful. So I was way more calm on Sunday than I was on Friday. Friday
Really?
was
That's
a harder day for me. The wind was howling.
It was brutal.
I had to shoot a couple under on the back to make the cut in 30-mile-an-hour winds, and where Sunday was like, man, if I just play good golf, I know I can shoot 6 under out here. And fortunately, I did that.
Was the whole body shaking on that 6-footer on the last?
It was on Friday to make the 5-footer down the hill.
Yeah, you shouldn't hit that putt that hard.
I agree. It's funny because I've had that putt so many times. It was my 7th or 8th year playing there. Even practice round, you have this putt, goes up the hill into the green, and it kind of goes down right. And it's one of those things like 2 putting is the hardest thing to do. So in my head, I'm like, screw it, just hit a good putt. Like the more you try to 2 putt, you leave them short.
100%. Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not leaving this one short, but I didn't mean to hit it 5.5 feet past the hole either. And thankfully on that one, either Zach or Wes kind of putted down my same line, and I knew, so I had the read, and it was downhill, so all I had to do was get it started, and it was going to go in. Like, just don't completely.
What was
choke
the
on this
wind?
thing.
Was the wind like across the like breaking? Like,
It
or
was straight downwind,
straight
too, so
down
I-
and downhill.
It was downhill, downwind, and like maybe inside right. And I was like, if I just hit it anywhere along this line, it's going in. And thankfully, it got started.
I
on
watched
in.
it. My hands are
my
kind of
God.
like sweating. Actually talking. I was like,
Yeah.
dude, it's hard to
My
two-putt
hands just started sweating
to
too.
make the cut in week 12 out there or whatever. But when it's
Don't
like,
care.
I for sure am not having a job next year on the PGA, or not a full card on the PGA
Right.
without this. And then not only that the job's only halfway done after that. But that you made both of them dramatic, the Friday and the Sunday, kind of similar
The
to
one
Link
Sunday
putts.
was nasty. I mean, left to right slider.
It was downhill, left, right on Sunday. Same thing. I had about the same putt, 40-footer. It I thought it was more down, and when it got close, as it was going to make its turn, it probably broke 4 feet on the lag putt. But as I thought it was going to be more down as it broke, and I just didn't get it kind of that spot where it was going to feed more. So leaving that one, I was like, you could have hit this past the hole and had like a straighter uphill or one, but I had a decent amount of time because I was first to go on the lag putt, and then Garrick smashed his past, and then I don't even remember who else I played with that day, but he had a closer one. That's how you just like blacked out in that moment. But I remember I looked around. My wife, Mark and Megan Hubbard were there, which was really cool. And my wife was sitting down below the green. It's kind of a raised green. She's sitting below the green next to a grandstand. Like, I know she can't see anything. I looked over and I'm like, well, she's panicking. Deservedly so. Look at Rob, and he's kind of like trying to figure it out. And I just kind of felt a weird sense of calm. Like, I've done everything to this point today. I'm not missing this putt. And I felt so much better about that one. It was an easy putt, but it was like one of those things like, this is going in. I'm not screwing it up now.
Glad you felt comfortable because I was on my couch freaking out, updating.
You had to
like-
update because they weren't showing the biggest story out there. They weren't
Because I'm
showing it.
finishing on the back nine, right? So, and I'm an hour ahead of the leaders probably. So I'm finishing. There was a PGA guy with like a handheld camera cruising around a little bit, but and at that point I still didn't know. I knew it had to go in probably, but I didn't know if it went in if it still wasn't good. But I knew I had to make it at least. But I felt really comfortable, and I think you can kind of see my reaction Friday versus like I fist pumps Friday. A little more of a like hug for Gino and like relief there. And Sunday was like, all right, that was really hard. That sucked. I'm glad it's over with. But still like walking off, I'm like, is that good? And the camera guy was like, yes, but I can't guarantee it. And I was like, okay.
That's a long way too. It looked like you put your hand up by your mouth, and it was like,
it was
I was
kinda-
like, holy shit, his hands.
Yeah,
Of course they
I was
are.
like talking to Gene. I'm like, is that good? He's like, I think so, but I don't know.
I know myself, like a lot of people, were wanting to watch it, and whatever, I don't want to hate on the
Hater,
broadcast.
why are you
or
such a
anything.
hater,
But
broadcast hater?
I did get in trouble a little talking to because I tweeted, I was like, more Joel Dahmen, please, because I wanted to watch. But for you, were you kind of glad like there wasn't a camera running behind you every single shot coming down the stretch?
I was. We didn't have much of a gallery on that side. It was like, you got a few people around. It made it a little bit easier that I was just kind of could be in my own little world and play. And it was just so much easier doing that than having all the extra stuff for sure.
I loved when Mark Hubbard came up to you afterwards and he said, "You're the most stressful person in my life."
Yes. He was in the grandstands behind 9 in like double fisting beers, like sitting with like sponsors. Like, I don't know, it's RSM people in the tent. And no one cares. No one has any idea what's going on there. And he goes in and I hear him yell, like, stand up, beers in hand. I'm like, that's my guy. And at that point I knew I was probably okay.
Yeah, that was so Gino, you had your hand up, like, is that good? He says, I think so. Hub's cheering you on like you did it. But when did you actually, how long was it till you actually found out?
So,
like, yes, mathematically it's done, you're in.
Yeah, so they have the guy in the tent running all the numbers. So I scored after signing my card. I was actually not even signing my card, and the guy came in. I'm like, am I good? And he's like, sign your card. And I was like, all right, sign. Am I good? And he's like, yes. I'm like, thank you. He's like, the worst you could fall to is 125 now. I'm like, 124, 125, I don't care. I'm good.
Yeah.
And then ran out and hugged Lana and had a beer with Hubbard and Rob Rochelle was there, which was cool. First time Rob ever has shown any real emotion. There's always been proud and it's like high fives and like a good buddy thing, but there was a little emotion there and it was really
That's cool. Mm-hmm. That's cool.
It was awesome.
Did you have a feeling on Sunday, like you knew you needed something? You're sitting there at 4 a.m. scrolling through how many points, figuring out where you need to finish. Did you have a feeling after the Eagle, the hole out, which I got to see on like a handheld phone or something like that 12 hours later. But after that goes in, did you start thinking like, okay, like I need something like this to do something special today?
With the wind down, I know, you need to get off to a good start. And I had wedge in on 10 and 11, hit good shots, just didn't make the putts to 10, 12 feet. And then the 12's kind of a hard part of 3 and hit it 25 feet and burn the edge. And then I was like, okay, 15 holes left. You're starting to need almost half of these things. And that gets kind of hard.
Yeah.
But next hole, good number, hit the wedge, and you couldn't see it over the bunker, and some people cheered for it, and I'm like, in my head, I was like, I hole out once or twice a year. I mean, I'm not Ches Reavie at the hole out game, right? So
Very
when
few
it went
are.
in, I was like, well, this is it. Like, this is supposed to happen now. The ball, like, instead of going to a foot, it goes in the hole. I'm
Felt like an omen. Yeah.
It was it, and made a good par on the next hole, and then I birdied 15, 16, 17, and I was like, okay.
Now we go.
We're doing it.
Now we go.
You mentioned the Ches thing. I remember playing Sony Open, and it felt like every other hole on the leaderboard, it said Ches Reavie just holed out from 120 yards. He holed out three times in one round.
round.
And will this be the shot of the day? Check PGAtour.com.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
I'm walking out the frame like, God damn, how many times does this guy hold out today?
by the way, we all played it. That was right after the Twin Fin here in Scottsdale, where he made double eagle on 18 that year.
He did?
Was that
Yeah, Ches did. He made a 5 iron.
Well, I know
on
that
18.
he won by himself.
So he made double
I
eagle.
know Brady pitched in a few times, won by 5.
and then
but-
hold out 3 times in his next round of golf that they kept
I mean,
scoring.
it was windy, chilly those 2 days we played last year. I played him in the first round. He shot 8 under on his own ball, and it looked simple.
Yep.
And I was like, I mean, he's really good at golf, obviously. But
He hits it.
He
out of
strikes
the
it
middle
out
normally.
normally.
he
Yeah.
hoops.
What's the plan for the offseason? Obviously, God, no, you don't want to have to go through this again this year. Like, go back to playing Joel Dahmen golf. But
Right.
what are you going to focus on?
So I did a really nice decompression. Went to Healdsburg for Thanksgiving with Harkins and the family. Brandon Harkins, his mom's part of the wine business up there, so we've done that for a lot. So that was really fun, just to like immediately get away from it, have fun, and then went to Vegas for a few days with the boys, which is always a good way to decompress and kind of reminisce on the year and that stuff. But I went to TPI recently. Have never done that before.
How are you? Built for speed?
I'm not quite built for speed. I am very efficient with the golf swing. I am redlining my engine. My car is an old junker, and I really need to get my body stronger. I'm about 25-30% deficit from the tour average in strength, which I'm not shocked about. Let's be honest on that one. But I was very excited that my golf swing is good. I'm efficient with it. If I can just get stronger, that'll help, keep injuries away and, maybe make me hit the ball a little bit further. But learned a few things on chipping and putting as well, you always think TPI is just like this 3D image and they only do golf swing. All of a sudden I hit a few chips and Dr. Rose was like, yeah, this is how the best chip and this is how you chip. I was like, oh, finally a way to quantify it. It's not like you need to be outside. You need
What did he say? Like, what was the difference?
So the dirty secret of chipping is no great chipper lowers their body mass, their center of gravity down through impact. Every great chipper goes up.
Mm-hmm. It's like the reverse of the full swing.
It's completely wild. The long players push off their side and they go up, but and I never heard that and I didn't understand it. And like immediately he's like, I bet your strikes are not great. I'm like, well, yeah. And like 3 chips in, I was going up and I like peered him. He's like, there you go.
It's fascinating stuff you can learn.
I mean, watching Spieth on it.
Stricker, I feel like
Stricker's great. Scotty's probably the most underrated. Or even Xander Schauffele around the greens is really special. And I was watching some Spieth videos even just last night, and it is amazing how much up he actually comes through. I mean, we're talking inches in this, like a couple inches, but every great chipper goes up with the body mass through the ball, and I had no idea on that. And now I feel like I can.
Interesting.
It'll be some work in progress there, but that was a really cool nugget I took out of that.
Scotty doesn't have to chip very often.
There's
correct.
that too.
But when he does,
He chips it really
he's
nice.
really good.
He's good at it.
For you out there, I mean, you're playing against the guy. Can you just like put into perspective like what this guy's doing right now? Like even the hero just this week, he won by 6.
Oh, by the way, I'm just gonna like maybe claw some of these putts in from inside 15 feet.
Just give it a run.
I'll just try it here.
Who cares?
It's just
I got
fun.
16 tries.
Oh, weird. I shoot 63 on Sunday. It's super easy. It was amazing. So I didn't get to play with him or see him much this last year with the new designated events, but couple years prior, I got to play with him a couple times. One, he's an incredibly nice guy, and I still love to give him crap all the time on the greens, or chipping, putting when we're seeing each other. And he's just such a fun guy, and he's always chatty, and it's hard to imagine how much Xander had an unbelievable year, and obviously winning 2 majors, but like every single week Scotty's on the leaderboard, and it's the best season since Tiger era, and it's still probably in the middle of Tiger's great year. So it's hard to imagine, especially in today, the competition's so deep now. And the courses that he's doing he's playing the best and the hardest courses every week, and he's doing that. And I've mentioned we played with Ludwig Oberg in San Antonio, and he hit this 4-iron on a par 3, and it just pierced the wind, went to like 15 feet. And I looked at Gino and go, thank goodness I don't have to play against this guy very often. So I feel that same way about Scotty as well. I'm like, I would love to get in those designated events and play in the majors and do all that stuff where I was a few years ago. And I would like to test where my game's at again, but man, it's kind of nice to tee up against other guys too.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've all done this for a living for quite some time. Like to just never play bad. Like I mean, his bad weeks are.
I can't really comprehend it.
That's what I don't comprehend that. I go like, you don't have like a bad week. Hit like it's not that hard to hit it in the rough a few times and make some bogeys or hit it in the water and all of a sudden
Shoot
make
37 or 8. Like
how
things
dare
didn't go
you do
right.
that? Yeah, it just doesn't happen there. And I think it's obviously a testament how good he is, but it's a testament to his mind. And I think his interview was cool after he just won the Hero. It was like, hey, I think Rappaport maybe or someone asked, it was like, hey, are you gearing up for the majors? Like it's like, well, yeah, sometimes I think about those, but I gear up every week and I treat them all the same. And it's like, well, that's why you're so good.
It's
I
ridiculous.
think and Scotty's stuff too feels like authentic. Like I think that's truly the way. I've heard some other guys say things like, oh, I don't practice, I don't do that. I'm like, shut up. Yeah, they're just trying to like say what they think's cool or what's sounds
Right, what
good.
you're
Scotty's
supposed
is
to say.
real. I think. Like I think
He treats
he's just
every week
like
the
that.
same. He's like, I treat the Hero Week which some guys it's a fun week in the Bahamas. You get a paycheck. It's a cool way to end the year. You take a bunch of family and friends down there. It's great. He's like, I don't know. I treat it the same week as every other week. I'm like, how? How do you do that?
It's crazy. By the way, the $1 million he won at the Hero brought down his
Yeah,
weekly average.
His smallest check of the year, dude.
Oh,
the
I
milli.
assumed it was a massive.
He never
purse.
made anything without 2 commas in it the whole year.
It was absurd. I mean,
got $1 million.
he was. I think he averaged just over $3 million a start there at the end with his FedEx Cup bonus.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
with
is
the
that what it
bonus
came down to?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, just how about that? How much show up? I'll make at least $3
He
million
made
this week.
64 or 5 million this year, and then he added one more million in the Bahamas just to make sure he paid for a Christmas present for
Just
his new
for
kid.
fun. I'll get that PIP's coming too, by the way, whatever that was. That's something. That's coming.
My buddy Brendan Morrow played with him before he went to the Hero. And Preston Trail is a very good golf course. Not the easiest golf course in the world. He goes, yeah, Scotty went to the back nine, made 8 threes and a 4 on me.
Nice 4, idiot.
Yeah. He's
It must have been on a par 5.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
He
just,
couldn't reach it.
he's so good.
It's different, and I think it's cool that he's also a great human being,
Yeah.
and it's different than maybe some of the other greats, is where they're more sheltered and they're kind of, they don't say as much. Like, he's pretty authentic, and I think he's getting really comfortable. Like, the joke, he's starting to joke a little bit more with the media. He has to do it every week. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, give him answers all the time? Like, he's just a fun, good dude, and he's probably a better dad than me. He's probably a better husband. Like, what else can't this guy do?
He's pretty good at everything.
Yeah.
You mentioned joking around with the press a little bit. I loved at the Tour Championship when he shanked the bunker shot. The guy's like, why'd you shank it? How'd you shank it? He's like, well, the hosel got there first, and if you hit it here,
It was the Baylor rebounding answer from the incident against Yale or whatever. It's like when you go up and you get the ball with 2 hands, that's considered a rebound. They got more of those than we did. I was like, that's beautiful. What do you want us to say?
That was
They
the March
out-rebounded.
Madness guy from
Yeah,
Baylor.
that
He's
was a sweet
It's
answer.
like, what are you supposed to say?
Yeah.
I talked to Gino for a bit yesterday, and he said one of the things, like, this wasn't our best year on the golf course in terms of playing. Like, Joel's had fantastic years. He's played really good. This one was more stressful. But he said, without question, unequivocally, you treated yourself better on the golf course. Like, your self-talk was miles better. Was that like a conscious effort that you made to change that? Because you're not afraid to, like, you love to downplay your talent level.
I mean, and I also I'm competitive, right? Like, I get very frustrated, probably to a fault, and I get down sometimes quicker than others. And if it adds like week to week, like a lot of guys reset. It's like, oh, that was a week I reset. I'm like, pretty easy to like stuff one on the first hole the next week and miss it, and you're like, oh, here we go again. Like, we're golfers, right? Like, we all do the same stupid stuff. So that to me, so I started working with a guy named Chris Bertram, who's a performance coach out of Canada. He's worked with some, but he's a national snowboard coach up there. So not necessarily super, like, he knows golf, he knows all that stuff, but we worked on a lot of things, mostly just like more being better week to week and more routine oriented, of like, take a daily vitamin, God forbid, like I did something healthy for myself. Just being more like week to week is all the same, and that built up over the time. And I was doing all these little things and putting blocks in place that made it easier to play golf. Like, I was like, I put in some work this year. I've did some things that I should be a better golfer, or it made me feel like I was. So I didn't have to beat myself up. Because sometimes I beat myself up because I was like, well, why don't you go practice more? Like you have a shot and you're like, well, I haven't practiced this one in 3 weeks. No wonder I can't hit it, type thing. So say Chris Bertram's been a huge part of it. I actually started working with him pre-fall last year. So we've been in it a little over a year, and that's been a huge part of it as well. But I would say being more positive, not necessarily positive, but just not getting down. And it's more enjoyable out there. Like, everything's an opportunity. Some weeks are better than others, but overall I was very nice to myself. And I did enjoy this year more as a whole than I have in years past.
You should be nicer to yourself. You're a hell of a talent, Joel.
Thank you.
Hell of a talent.
I appreciate that.
Here's you want a philosophical, like a deep question for you?
I do.
Having come close to falling outside the top 125 and then playing some great golf, getting inside of it, but you've never really been that close before. Like you said,
Right.
I've cruised between whatever it was, 50 and 90.
Yeah, I think I finished around 90 last year, and that was my closest.
Yeah, no stress where you're like sweating. I'm sure you like be better, but
or hung out. It was like, I could have done this or that, but very, very comfy.
Does your perspective change on like having a full card on the PGA Tour, and how privilege is not the right word because you earned it, right? But lucky is not the right word, but how special it is, I guess.
It is, because I feel like you get complacent when you can cruise for that way for a long time. I mean, live a pretty good life. Got an amazing wife and kid now. He's almost 2, and built a cool house and like do all these things. And, I'm not flying private all the time and doing all the cool stuff, but don't really worry about a bar tab, or I don't worry about going to dinner and what the steak costs at dinner. Like, it's a perfect life of like, we don't overspend. We basically do whatever we want. and it's great. And this was a nice little gut check, and I'm really proud of myself of how I battled through that and how I did it. And I already feel myself way more motivated than I've ever been, because we're going to 100 cards next year as well, right? And there's like, there's a lot of work. I'm like, well, this is a one-off year where I have not been close to even really 100 per se. So I feel comfortable with that, but I was top 20 in strokes gained driving and top gained strokes gained approach. If I can get my putting decent, which I believe I can, I made strides the last 3 weeks doing that, and I made some big time putts. Like I have a lot more in the tank. I know I'm getting older. I'm 37, but I feel pretty motivated right now, and I feel like there's a lot of good in here.
I feel like making that 6-footer on the last has just got to give you so much confidence going into next year. Like, that's the biggest putt of my life, and I buried it.
Yeah, absolutely. Friday and Friday and Sunday. So I did those two things, and it's like I've casually shown up to Sony and almost like work your way into it a little bit. And I'm like, I want to be ready to go at Sony. I want to, if you play well in those first 3 starts you get in Pebble and Riv, 2 of my favorite events. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, let's hit the ground running this year and let's get into the top 50. And let's do cool stuff that way. Because the better you play, the quicker you don't have to do this anymore. Then I just go on the member guest tour with you guys.
That's a
fun tour.
I would love to do that.
It's a great tour. Hard to win.
No
one cares.
Hard on the body.
It's a pickle dish. Yeah, it's not for everyone. But
I would mostly just love to participate in all of those things. And the quicker and better I play over the next 5-ish years, because then I can also be a t-ball coach, soccer coach, whatever those things are for my little guy. That's what I really want to do. Whether I coach or not. I mean, there's a lot of great coaches around here, as you know. DA is. I'm hoping my kid is good enough to be on DA's team. Is all I want. So, but yeah, I would love to be a part of that, and I want to be around for him as much as I can. And I think with 5 more great years, I can kind of chill. And I want to see how good I can be for those. And I feel different after this last year.
That's really cool.
You should talk to DA about coaching though before you get into it. Former starting NFL quarterback, played $1 million, and then he'll have like dads come up to him at the end have never played a down of football. Like, look, dude, my kid.
How'd you throw that?
What
pass?
you need to do on this? Yeah, exactly. He's like, really? Like, you ever taken a snap in your life?
Ray Whitney, 23-year NHL veteran. He coached his kids' team, and he got all the parents around. Start of the season, he goes, "Have any of y'all ever played in the NHL?" They go, "No." He goes, "Don't call me and tell me how to coach this team, because none of y'all know anything." He just put it right out there.
That's it. It's like, if you don't like it, you can get off the team probably. And if you want your kid to be coached by a guy in the NHL who's a legend, then you can.
So we've had some fun with you about. Gino shares this with Sleaze and I a lot. He enjoys.
Yeah, these are fun.
Gino's a little bit too of an open book at times for the wrong people. Like, it's nice. We have a lot of inside jokes. Obviously, we're best friends, been together a long time. And he recently shared that he maybe fires off a text to you two about things that are happening.
We've had the punch-out yips. We've had the 7-iron yips.
The parking yips.
So also with 7-iron yips, Sahith Thegal also has that as well, right?
Didn't he change his 7? It doesn't even say 7?
It says 8 on it.
That's crazy. But it's 7 loft?
Yeah.
It's just a mental, like, I hate the 7-iron? That's crazy
That's how
talk.
messed up golfers are.
Yeah,
Like, do you think that number on the bottom is going to bother you? But he recently shared that you got the autograph yips.
Oh, bad. So
yeah, that's tough.
I was trying to find the signature on the wall over here, but it's not great. I'm never pretending to have a great signature. I mean, my handwriting is putrid. Like, you'd think if I hit a golf ball, you'd probably sign your name. Struggle with that whole deal. But yeah, I got somehow the E. So I do a cursive J that looks okay, and and it gets to the E, and I freeze on the E right now. And I can't get, like, the pen just stops for a full second, and then it'll go, and it gets a little sloppy there. But that came up.
Should try crosshand. Or the claw.
I was going to say claw.
The claw on your signatures, yeah.
That actually
Hold it
is
like
a good
a crab.
Idea. You have to change something, because right now, as you're, let's say you sign for 15 or 20 kids after the round in some spots, like, I'm taking twice as long as other guys to get through this line, and it is not pretty either. So that's one that's real.
He does enjoy the yips.
What else has there been? The 7-iron yips. You had the parking yips for a minute?
So luckily, if I'm with Gino on the road, he typically drives where I make him drive, which is great. But if my wife and I are going somewhere, and we're going to let's say we go to Target Run or Costco or something. I make her drive because it's a large parking lot. I let the car choose where it wants to park. And sometimes you just have to let the car go. And sometimes it takes a little bit longer to find the spot where it fits in and it goes. So I've had parking yips for a while. I just can't. I'm a solid driver. My wife calls me a grandpa driver. So I'm not ripping 80 around the 101 and I'm not going 55 on Scottsdale Road. But I get into these parking lots and I just can't pull the trigger on a spot.
What does that mean? Let the car go where
Just
it
let
wants
the
to
car
go
go.
when you're driving it.
You just,
I don't understand.
I drive a 17 Ford Explorer. It's baller.
Yeah.
And
I've seen it. It's sick.
My wife drives a slightly nicer car, but it's sometimes you just can't pull the trigger on the spot and you just circle the lot once or twice until you really get safe.
Right.
It's not,
Got to take inventory.
it's way better when no one's in the car with me. Although when I pulled in right behind Colt and it was so much easier. You just pulled in, I just followed the lead, I pulled in next to him and it was seamless.
There's a lot of space out. You're not squeezing in between
Correct.
two trucks.
And it's not like I can't fit the car in there. I'm a confident driver. It's just that, sometimes there's a car seat. You have 2 kids. You got to have some room for those. And, you're trying to get the kids in the back seat and the car seat and doing that jazz. So then you got to find the passenger seat with wider room than the other one. And it just takes a little longer.
Mm-hmm. The more I think about it, the more I think Gino's job is not as easy as advertised. There's a lot to manage there. You know what I mean? It's a perfect 7-iron. Nope. I have the yips with that club.
Right.
All right. Hit the little 6. Nope.
Don't like that one either. Yeah. He deals with a lot. He does. He's a great human being. He's a great caddy. I think people underestimate him as how good of a caddy he is. You're like, oh, Ted Scott's a great caddy. Well, I could caddy for Scotty Scheffler. He's pretty good. But Gino is actually an amazing caddy in the fact of the information that he gives and at the time. He's not just my best friend. He's actually, he's been doing this for 10 years now. The guy gets it and he knows what he's doing out there. But as all caddies do, he puts up with a lot. But I also think because our relationship is so much more friendship than a business transaction, see you at the course an hour before my tee time, he gets everything. If whatever it is, I can complain about my kid or what's going on here or there. And, we share a lot of details to each other. And at the same time, he's more than just a caddy, but he's also a very good caddy.
Yeah, y'all's relationship is awesome. I love going out there. Were you impressed with my caddying skills at Phoenix Open this past year?
Oh, Taylor Montgomery. Wow, that was almost a year ago.
I know.
I was actually.
What were you impressed with?
That
What
shit's
part of it was it?
by the way?
Yeah, Taylor hitting it all over the fucking map.
Well, Taylor improved his ball striking a lot this fall. It's not the end of Taylor Montgomery. He's a good player, obviously one of the best putters in the world. But I was impressed with how engaged you were through the whole thing. I thought it was maybe you would show up a little more hungover from a night out. I thought you would maybe
I just hit it well.
Yeah. I was just very impressed with your you were a full caddy. It was like, hey, wind's here. This is where we're trying to go. This is what we're doing. Helped reach some putts, which I thought was interesting, but it was great. I was very impressed. You also kept up. I know he gave you a smaller bag that week, but that is miserable. Caddying, I caddy
33 holes on Friday. Are you kidding me? Really, the 1 week I caddy?
I know.
We got 33
terrible
holes.
weather.
Slop. I mean,
freezing
slop.
start at the
Yeah.
ass crack of dawn, don't end till dark.
Yeah, it was
Brutal.
That was one of the toughest weeks, and I was actually. I mentioned that to Gino. I was like, he's actually helping and caddying and not just screwing around.
it was fun. I would
believe
like
you
to do
did
it in a nice weather situation.
Which
That could be-
typically you would think
yeah.
you would get it here,
Yeah.
which makes sense. It's an easier walk as well. It's flat for the most part. There's not too many long walks, so it would have been a nice week.
And to be fair, he didn't get me the small bag. I called TaylorMade and said, "Can you please send a small bag? I'm not carrying this big bastard around."
Which is smart.
And he carries so much shit in his bag. He had a Ziploc bag of 55 gloves.
I mean, I got about 45 in mine.
Come on, guys.
I
They
got
got practice gloves and
I
they
got
get
sweaty
demoted.
hands. I got, it was 48 degrees that day or
He
35.
had 40 hydration packets. I'm like, can we not just bring out 2 or 3 each day?
No, Costco bag right in there. Off you go. Gino does the same thing. So Gino refuses to take anything out of the bag. So Gino prides him. He treats caddying as a workout. And so I got to have at all times a top 5 heaviest bag on tour. And
But he wants it like that.
he refuses to like put stuff in the locker room. You know, it's really cold in Sea Island, and from, you know, all the rain gear on top to protect the wind, to the sweaters, to the beanies, to the gloves, all of that's in the bag. And like, we had an opportunity to drop it off. And he's like, no, this is it. I was like, okay, you do you.
He does that extra rep, that extra
He trains
set.
for hunting season to be able to pack out the deer, the elk in the fall. So that's more of that, I think, for him.
You've done a couple of TV broadcasts. What'd you think of that?
Your job is safe, Colt. Your job is safe.
The Creator Classic.
Yeah. And the Netflix Cup.
Yeah, those were two a little bit different deals because I was actually on the ground for the Creator Classic, and I think it's being a player, it's easier to call what you see right in front of you, right? It's like, oh, he's got a bunker shot. It's simple. I was the last group off, so I called like the first hole and maybe the second hole, and then they kind of went to like as the guys were kind of coming in, and made probably a mistake. I would call it a rookie mistake, but I was enjoying a beverage with some fans about 50 yards away because they hadn't talked to me in 3 holes, and you know, you hear everything going on, but you're kind of BSing, and all of a sudden I get the Joel 15 green, you in the air? I'm like, yeah, I'm here. It's like, what's this putt do? And I'm like trying to look around. I'm like, oh crap, I should go look at this thing. And I was like, it looks like it's uphill, breaks a little left, and this thing like downhill breaks right. And I was like, nah, not it. It's fast out there because my first time I talked a lot. I rambled. And he's like, in the ear, he's like, you got to be quicker than that. And I was like, so then you're trying to say something productive and informative in a shorter amount of time. And it is a learned skill, but I'm more impressed with like guys like Colt and Smiley have done it, picked up very quickly, rose to the top very quickly with it. That's very impressive to me because I need a lot of reps at that. But trust me, also laying in bed at Sea Island there, I was like, am I going to get a commentating job? Am I going to have to get on Sirius XM with Brave in the Sleeves? Am I have to start a podcast? Like, where am I going with this whole deal? So luckily, I'm going to go back to playing golf. But it's something that is fun, and it's a great way to be around the game and be around your friends still, and be you know, in that environment as well, which is really cool. But I don't think it's for me anytime soon.
Yeah, stick to golf. That pays way better.
Nobody chooses to go into
it. Does pay way better. I thought you guys made more money. And maybe it was just
you guys made more money.
Maybe it was a rookie.
I actually have no idea.
I was on a 4-hour rookie contract, which is fair. I was there for different stuff, and it was fun to be around. But I thought it'd be easier, to be honest. I was like, man, I just talk golf, and it's not quite that easy. You have to be good, and I'm not. You got to be super witty and quick to get in the jabs that like you do, and I'm not nearly as quick as you, and it's tough.
I've always been known for my speed.
Yeah,
definitely.
He's fast with everything.
Very, very quick.
He's in and out type of a dude. You know what I mean?
That's what we do.
Yeah.
You seem to just be in like a really good spot right now. I mean, I know you're like relieved you kept your card and everything, but I just feel like, I don't know, you just seem like everything's going really, really well right now.
I would say after that putt went on 18, like a 10,000 pound weight, like the stress builds on yourself, but you're in control, right? I have the golf club. I can make this happen. I always controlled my own destiny through this whole thing, which is a great part of it. I didn't need anyone else's help. I could always just play better and get it done. Putting the pressure on my wife, who's been an unbelievable supporter for me, and she's been there since mini tour days, right? Like, so when she worked 2 jobs to pay for our rent back when I started, she's been through it all, and watching that stress and like her, I know what she's thinking about because I'm thinking about the same things. Gino, like I much rather him be on my bag than someone else's bag. I'd love to give him the money. So there was a lot of layers to it that I was thinking about as well. But I feel like I'm in a lot better spot for sure. I've proven to myself I can get it done in tough situations. And I think looking back, a good like how well I actually played and how good my stats were shows that I can be a very, you know, I think I'm a top 50 player in the world. I've said it for way too many years, but I've proven it. You know, I've a couple top 10s at majors. I was leading one through, 36 holes. I've put myself in some spots that I can do that, and there's no way I can't do it more often right now.
I feel like your popularity exploded after Full Swing, obviously, and like you go to tournaments now, you're signing more autographs. Everyone knows you. Like it's like the Phoenix Open, people going nuts for you, and then to have a year where you're like a bubble, like you're kind of getting the attention of a top guy, but you're right here on the bubble. Did that add like, I guess the new popularity, did that add pressure to the year or make it tougher?
Yeah, a little bit. I would say the first year of Netflix, so the prior year was the hardest year of managing time because you have so many opportunities coming your way. And it's easy to say yes to everything because new opportunities coming in means more money, means more awesome stuff, meeting new people. All these opportunities are coming to you. And I didn't manage that very well because also had my kid like 3 weeks before Netflix came out, the season 1. So that was all new. Everything's new coming at you. And I don't think I handled that as well as I could have. I could have put some, could have got Chris Bertram probably a year earlier, which would help manage those things. Or just asking for help a little bit more would have been nice. And I thought I was settled in to this year and kind of getting all, but I didn't quite catch it in time. I started to catch it too late in the year. I'm like, okay, saying no is a powerful thing. I'm in a position now where I can say no. And that is a really cool thing. And you just say yes to the things you really want to do and that you're passionate about. And with my great partners, I can say yes to more of those things instead of divided time around so many other things. So I'm excited for what's to come. I'm also enjoying through Christmas. After Christmas, I'll really ramp up and do stuff, but I'll be in the gym a little bit more between now and then and going that way. But
With our man Carson
Camp,
Yeah.
the beast. So yeah, I know that you've been in there a ton. You're committed to that, which is awesome. It's just a really fun crew in there as well. Like it's a bunch of good dudes. There's no egos in the gym. It's not like who can lift the most, who can do this. It's just like, hey, we're all kind of doing some things. Let's get in there, and at least you're miserable with friends for 45 minutes.
Yeah. It's
And
really
that's a
fun.
lot
I'm like,
easier.
why am I paying to do this?
Right, exactly.
This is stupid. This
It's
sucks.
supposed to better your life, I suppose.
Now that you have some time, can we start our response to our wives book club and start the all men book club where we go to exotic locations to discuss the book that we didn't read? When does that start?
So how
The comic book club, I think we could start,
my wife was one of the last additions, I believe, into this. I believe there's 15-ish gals in here, mostly all Scottsdale based.
0 of them read the book.
My wife is a pretty good reader.
Does she?
There's a few that actually read, but it's amazing. So I believe my wife joined about a little over a year ago, and they rotate hosting houses like once a month. And my wife chose Vegas to blow all of the end of our MGM credit.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden she's got 8 girls in Vegas, and I'm like, is this book club? Because I can start a book club too with my friends, and
Yeah.
that sounds way better.
We should go to Vegas like once a
We'd
month.
spend the MGM credit way cooler too.
Yes,
It wouldn't
absolutely.
be Manny's and Patty's.
Right. So it's just it's a great group of gals, and they're all kids or kind of younger, but the guys are top notch on the other side of it. I would say that for sure.
Have either of you had the host at your house yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. She did one too. I walked in and just a gaggle of them sitting there in the living room just laughing. And I was like, oh, what part of the book are y'all on right now?
We had a private chef.
Yeah, you got
I'm
it.
like, this is really, I mean, we
How
gotta
else
have
you going to talk
hire
about a
chef.
book?
I think my wife probably did like a charcuterie board. That's what she loves to do. And then she had, I mean, it's hard to cook for that many people, but she had this new garden set up that we did in the backyard, and they're all under there. And my father-in-law baked a cake for him. He's, do you guys hear this one?
No.
My father-in-law has hot dad cake.
Hot dad cake?
And they're all like, who's that? And it's like, that's
Sick.
my father-in-law. And he's like, he's really good looking. He's like, hey, he is. He's a tall, nice looking 55-year-old man. But
Nice.
they all call him hot. You should ask your guys when you get home about hot dad cake.
Man, I
have to
have
do
not
some
heard about
investigating.
this. I'm going to have to
should.
keep my eye on this
So,
club a little more closely.
Yeah, I've kind of let them go a little bit. But, we meet up outside as well, right? So some charities we're all involved with and we're a part of, which is always fun to get together and do those things. But I don't know who exactly started or how, but it seems like a bit of a racket to me.
It's something. By the way, you kept trying to raise my paddle the other night at the charity thing.
Well,
Slap you.
You got to give back, dude. Come on, it's for the kids.
maybe you can just give to the Dahmen Family Foundation next time.
Whatever you want.
Yes.
I'm here for you.
Yes, exactly. You want to promote that real quick?
Yeah,
yeah?
so wife and I were 2 years in, almost 2 years into the Dahmen Family Foundation. We are supporting junior golf and families affected by cancer. So where I grew up in a small town in Eastern Washington, Gino's still there in Lewis and Idaho, same kind of area. But I feel like the junior golf program is really, we didn't really have one, but it's really went south, I would say. We don't have a leader in that, and I would like to put some money back into that. And my high school golf coach, Brian Frazier, had just retired, and he's got nothing to do, and he needs something to do. Because his man cave is amazing, and he just hits balls in the sim and sips on his whiskey and has a blast. So like, hey, what if like a few days a week we get you going somewhere else? So I think he's going to head up that back home in the Valley, and things pop up, here and there that we help out as well. It's a really cool opportunity.
That's awesome.
How can someone donate if they want?
You can go to joeldahmen.com.
There you go.
Really, really official there. But
like
yeah,
that.
you can do that. We're working on bucket hats again, so you can buy something. But we're going to have, calling it Joel Jam. I know Tiger had his jam in Vegas. This is going to be a lighter version of that. We're going to have it at Mesa Country Club in the spring sometime, probably March or April. Come by a team, come hang out, and you guys know how much fun Mesa can be. So we're going to have a good
Hell
time.
yeah.
We
I'm
will
in
be
on
there.
that.
We will be there for
Love
that Joel Jam.
Where are we at with everything going on in this crazy world of golf right now? PGA, Live, PGA Tour changing all their shit with the 100 cards now, signature events. Where's Joel Dahmen's stance on all this that's going on?
My stance is I'm going to play where they give me a tee time at any spot available right now, but I don't love it. I think the game's deeper than it's ever been. Mm-hmm. And I guess Lucas Glover's mentioned, don't challenge my intelligence by saying it's a pace of play problem. They had pace of play problem in the Bahamas with 20 people on the ground. So it's not that. Now, yes, we have a pace of play problem on the PGA Tour. That's fine. I'm not going to fix that. I'm not smart enough to do it. But we're the only professional organization in sports that is shrinking. Mm-hmm. Everyone else is growing. So I don't know. If you're going to shrink this, I already didn't like how they were forcing guys to go to the Korn Ferry Tour, basically the Q School aspect of it. Now you're forcing guys to go over there that are good enough to be on tour now, and you didn't elevate the purses. Like, you got to make them whole. Like, you can finish 60th on the Korn Ferry and barely make money after traveling, especially if you have a family out there. So let's bump those purses. I'm not saying crazy, but you got to make it at least where you can make a living. And then I just don't like how you're just shrinking it, and the players are getting better and better, and there's more young talent out there. I mean, we got Luke Clanton right now. He could, obviously, if he turn pro, he can do whatever he wants, but he's waiting on the PGA Tour review. I think that's a good idea as a whole, of giving those guys a leg in. But every college kid that shows up is ridiculous right now. It feels like they hit it 7,000 yards. They're all good. And the game's as good as it's ever been. And you're just making it harder to get to that spot. So I don't love that.
And like, whatever, you want to go to 100 cards, okay, that's fine. But the fact that we're still keeping these signature events around and making them 70-man fields, that's the one that bothers me, because you're saying you're giving the Korn Ferry guys better opportunity, more playing chances, but they don't get to play in those coming out of there. And I mean, we talk about it all the time. You look at the guys that finished top 50 last year, none of them finished outside the top 100. You're basically, those cards are gone. If you get that top 50,
only a few finished out even the top 70 at that point.
Yeah, you got to
well.
work at it.
You have to struggle a bit in those, and it happens. I mean, there's going to be a few guys that do it every year, but it's a huge advantage to get in there. And I think I'm not smart enough to figure out, but Mav McNeely came up with a new point system. I have not read it. I don't know about it. I'm assuming it's going to be slightly better and less skewed towards that. But I don't feel like a 120-man invite is pretty good. I think Colonial's been 120 for a long time. A lot of those were Memorial back. Seems like, I mean, if that's pretty good. If you're getting the 120 best PGA Tour players, that's a pretty darn good field.
Yeah,
and you're going to get them.
If you're going to shrink it, just cool. All right, I get it. But let everyone play have the same opportunity. Like right now, there's 50. There's, like Colt just said, like they're 99% of them aren't going anywhere. Yeah, they're not at risk.
It's easy to be on the other side of this too, and like, man, it's cool. You would be great, and it's like play better is always the deal. Like, well, everyone is actually kind of playing better, and you're just kind of getting squeezed and squeezed and squeezed. So, I do think that'll change a bit in the next couple of years. They'll finagle some numbers in that, but I'm fortunate enough that I've been out here a long time and I've kind of held my position. It's just getting harder, and you're just making it. There's no room for the new guys to come in.
I don't think it helps the product either. Like, being out there,
it's proven that it didn't help the product this year. Every TV rating was down this year, right? And I don't know why that was, but it's proven that this model didn't work the first year.
Shitty announcers. It's no excuse.
Yeah, the broadcast is tough. I don't know how many you catch.
But I'll say, like,
Jim Nance, he's losing it.
He's lost his fastball.
He's lost his fastball.
He's doing okay. But like, in being out there, like, I feel like there's when it's the 70-man field, no cut, like the Thursday Friday juice isn't there. Anything like?
I agree that. Well, one of the cool things in cut is or in golf is having a cut, right? Like, how about Max Homa at the British Open this year? Like struggled spring, summer, and like watching him battle, and he made the 20-footer. Like that meant something to people. Like you're watching top players care about making cuts. All of a sudden you don't have it, and you're like, oh, I'll just collect my 60th place money and cruise around in this. Like no one really wants to do that. I know some guys have said, well, we need those guys playing all 4 days to keep the product up. I'm like, well, no one ever watches a guy in 50th place unless it's Tiger Woods. That is the only human on earth
100%.
that we will watch. So Tiger is the needle. Maybe another guy or two, maybe move the needle, maybe even move it a hair, but it's just is what it is. And Tiger is not ever going to be the Tiger of old, obviously. You hope he's around as much as he can be just for the sake of the game of golf. But we gotta get past that somehow. And I'm not smart enough to figure it out. I was on the pack a few years ago. That was a waste of time. So
You really enjoyed that?
Yeah, it was super fun. I'll let the powers that be figure it out, and I'm gonna tee it up when they give me a tee time at wherever they tell me I'm allowed to play, and hopefully I play great.
You just focus on getting stronger, getting in that gym,
I gotta
some
get
It's
my
a good
edge
time
in.
to play really good golf.
This
right
is a
now,
great time.
You know what I mean?
This is a gauntlet year, as everyone's calling
You got a
it.
new puppy at home. You got to support.
I
Dude,
got a
mouths
new
to
puppy.
feed.
Have you looked at the dog food prices?
I have not, but I'm sure they're outrageous. Does your little man eat a lot? Or girl?
Well, he's a little boy. His name's Rusty. He's
Rusty
13 weeks. We've had him for 1 week as of now. He's a golden doodle like every other suburban
Good
family in the
looking
world.
dude, by the way.
He's a good dude. He's really chill right now, and my little man loves him. So he's great. But yeah, we're having a lot of fun. There's been some changes in the house with the kiddo, but and the dog, but it's been really fun.
Dog food prices.
Dog food prices.
Country's
If you
gone
know-
to
I think we
shit.
get talking about that today.
If you go elite, if you go to like the most elite level, it's like it'd be like $200 a month, maybe almost $300 a month if you get like the real food, whatever that someone will tell you, and then you realize dogs have been around forever and they can live off of anything. Like,
Yeah.
my kid throws as much floor on the.
Mine get double meals.
Yeah, it's it. It's like as much goes in my kid's mouth goes on the floor. That's enough for my dog.
Yep.
I don't know if you know this, though, but this coming year, the Phoenix Open, you're sitting with the player liaison over here. So
Yeah.
no request is too great.
And no bribe is too small. What do you want, though? I mean, it can all be arranged.
It's
you want to play with Scotty?
There's been a few years where there's some different musicians that people like I get more requests for than others, and I think Ben Hayes was a part of it the last few years, right?
Yeah, he's had all the jobs, I think.
Yeah, so there was multiple years that just don't ask me to play in the Monday Pro-Am, please.
Well, we'll talk offline.
Okay.
Well, that's my next question.
Wednesday's a bit filled up. We need some Monday guys.
Yeah, so maybe a sponsor invite to Wednesday would be great.
Okay.
I'm going to make sure all the players just request some very interesting things that week.
Because we live here, we're lucky enough that we have everything we really need. And now that my wife's part of the Bad Girls Book Club, they have a lot of ends. I know that they maybe spent an evening backstage or on the side stage with you guys last year. So as long as the Bad Girls keep doing their thing, I don't have to ask much out of Sleaze, man.
Yeah.
What do you think?
That's the right move.
What do you think about Nickelback on Friday night?
Yeah.
Or Creed? What if they just went together, like back to back?
And we just wear our Affliction tees and
I don't
Dude,
see
I'm
any.
pumped for
starched
Nickelback.
jeans.
I think it's going to be sick.
puka
Is
shells.
that actually happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nickelback, dude.
Friday night. Bird's Nest.
Is there going to be that picture? Have you seen the photograph deal? Is that going to be the whole deal? Is that
Probably.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. They're going to do it all.
Interesting.
Yeah, a little nostalgia for you.
Do you want to release any other names?
Yeah, they're out already.
Oh,
Jelly Roll.
Jelly Roll,
Luke Bryan and Nate Smith on Thursday. Nickelback. And then I know Sleaze is really pumped for the Swedish House Mafia.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
I've
not
heard of
familiar
them.
with their game.
I've heard of one. I mean, they have like one or two famous
Yeah.
songs that an outsider would know, but I think they're pretty big. That's why Saturday's always kind of gone to that house techno music stuff.
Yeah, and we had a big one committed and then bailed for something else.
You don't have enough money with Thunderbirds?
But we got a lot, but these prices are just
I've heard
outrageous.
They're astronomical. but
Outrageous now what they want to come
It
play
is-
for a night.
I'll say this. I had so much more fun before I was on the PGA Tour playing in the Phoenix Open. My rookie year, I didn't get in, and the next year I didn't get in. So I had 2 years of being a tour member and not having to play, it is the greatest week of all time. Because you get to do everything. You get
Ride
to
all
hang
the
on
rides.
16. You get to ride all the rides.
There's a
and you don't
lot
have
of
to show up and
rides,
play.
dude.
It's great. That is a ton of fun. And I've been going, I've had a good friend who had a box on 16 for a while. And even since like 2010 or 11, I was sitting behind the 16 when the prices were manageable, I would say. And so I've been going for 13 years now and having an all-time blast. And I would say the last 6 I've played have been the least amount of fun. I always get sick. Every Sunday, I get sick. The Phoenix Open Week.
You were this year.
I
Yeah,
was down
bad.
pretty bad. I didn't even make it through the Super Bowl this year. So I had Dre Gonzalez, and who's the Tour live commentator? Will. He was a snowboarder. Played on tour for a while.
Will Haskett?
McKenzie.
No, Will
Oh,
McKenzie.
Oh, Willie Mack.
He's a
Willie Mack.
snowboarder.
So I got Dre and Willie Mack over. I got Gino, and they're having a blast. And I'm like, I can't make it through this game. I feel like crap. And I was down for almost a week at that time. So every year I get sick at the end of Phoenix Open Week. We host a Taco Tuesday every year.
So do we.
And it's a blast.
You don't host Taco Tuesday, you get sick. That's what
No,
you meant by
that's what I said.
Yeah.
We get sick
Oh,
every
yeah,
week. It's
yeah.
like everyone's down.
Like 2 years ago, we had like 80 people at our place hosted. My boy Salsa from Nando's comes up and hosts it all. And this last year it rained on us, obviously, but we had enough tents and everything. It's a good party to start off on Tuesday. So maybe don't put me in the Wednesday prom. Actually, that'd
Yeah,
be way better.
see?
Tuesday,
Now we're talking.
Wednesday off.
Now
so
we're
maybe I will
talking.
play Monday. Host Tuesday.
You
Taco
just tell me what
Tuesday.
you want. We'll make all this work.
Deal. I like. You know what? The cool thing about Phoenix Open and Thunderbirds, every year is the best tee prize. The tee prizes really went away in the last few years because we playing for so much money and they're not trying to entice you anymore. But got a Traeger from there one year. We got these cool seats last year, I believe.
Yeah.
We got some good
Seats?
prices there. Like
Like these
chairs, like
chairs.
lawn chairs that are really nice.
Yeah. Try to
What
keep
we got?
it, try to give something that's not trash. You guys get so much shit. Try to not do headphones. A lot of headphones being tossed around.
Or
Bluetooth
water
speakers.
bottles or Bluetooth
Yeah,
speakers.
yeah,
Got a few of those.
yeah.
But
Those are
no,
good. Those are just people. You get them and then you just gift them to someone else,
it's a nice, yeah,
which is not
exactly. It is.
which is not terrible.
Well, Joel, I'm glad you finally agreed to come back in. Been wanting
It
to do
took
for
a while.
I know you've been waiting
It
for
feels
something cool
like-
to happen, and
well,
it did.
that, yeah. I feel like a lot of the stories had run, and but this is a nice time to figure it out, and I'm glad I made you guys wait.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we're pumped for you, man. Way to clutch up there at Sea Island. It was fun to watch.
Thank you.
Well,
Hopefully, I never have to do that again. I'd like to
Never,
clutch up
don't
late
ever
on
put us through
Sundays
that.
around the lead instead of clutching up in 35th
Yeah, to
place.
win one, that'll be a different type of nerves.
That'd be nice.
When you win, you come back in.
Yep,
Deal, and then we go straight to Vegas. MGM credits. Let them fly. Shadow Creek.
and
the whole
deal. Book club. Well, it's book club.
Oh, we'll just have a book club
a
meeting.
week long book club.
I just got back from Vegas this morning. Just hearing that place just terrifies me.
You look good.
I need a little nap.
You look good.
Well, you got in nicely, safely.
Yeah, we're here. Did it.
All is good. What was your highlight of the last 5 days? Was there one little thing that sticks out?
I mean, golf in Cabo was fun. Stapleton and George Strait.
Yeah,
Saturday
Where-
in Vegas.
That's
Pretty
pretty
sick.
good. I've always wanted to see George. I've never seen George. I'm going to Garth.
You going
next
to
week.
Garth next week, right?
That's
Garth
dude,
next week in Vegas.
That's my favorite.
That'll be.
Garth
I saw him
just-
once here in Phoenix about 5 years ago, and
Yeah.
I feel like obviously he's got to be nearing an end at some point of where he's like the most entertaining man. And so we have a good crew. We got Gino and his wife are coming, Brandon Harkins, his wife, and then another buddy, Tony, and his wife are coming, and we are dialed in. We got Carbone Friday night, Yellowtail Saturday.
Spicy rigatoni.
Do you know that Carbone has a new backroom bar?
Yes.
Yeah, I found that one out last week as well. That was
Nice place.
That's a great spot. Blair the Somm at Carbone really hooked us up that night. That was really good.
I'll tell you what the low light of the trip was is I hung out with John Mallinger entirely too much.
That guy's. I saw he almost won that Pebble Beach thing, and by almost won, he played pretty good.
Yeah, he finished.
Did he
like
almost win it?
He finished sixth.
I think he was in the final group
Yeah.
on Sunday.
Oh wow,
he made a
still-
quad on 13 on Sunday.
He's
I
grinding.
knew he was around.
That's his favorite event of the year.
Yeah,
He grinds.
Like
still
grinds,
got it.
He's still got something in the tank.
Fake drinker.
Cole always says I don't even know what that means really, but that's the take.
He acts like he drinks at these fun events like that, but he actually takes it serious. He'll
I
get so
respect.
mad
It's
about
harder
this.
to fake drink than it is to actually just go.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Well,
All
Joel,
right.
we love you, brother. Thank you
man.
so much. Congratulations on everything, and we'll have you back soon when you win.
Deal. After
Done.
Sony, we're in.
You got it.
Cool.
See you, brother.
All right, well, that was a fun one with Joel. Always good hanging out with him. So pumped for him. I mean, I think making that putt, the one on Friday and the one on Sunday, obviously, but the one on Sunday to keep his card, go out there and shoot 64, you need it the most. I think this is going to give him so much confidence going forward. I expect a big 2025 for him.
He's a guy that like loves to, degrade himself a little in his skills and his stuff, especially his putting. And making those two on Friday and Sunday with literally your job on the line, I don't think you can have more pressure than that. Watching that event was probably the most nervous I've been in a while. I always love watching that event because it comes down to the bubble. But Joel being a close friend for years and years, that was when I was sweating out. And how about like the Sunday night, whatever, 4 a.m.
Yeah.
He's up, can't sleep. It's like, let me check out exactly what I need to do. And then goes out and does it. After I saw the eagle pop up, on the app, I was like, dude, here we go. We got a chance. Because you got to start, he needed at least 6 probably going into that thing. And he needed every single one of them. But damn, that's something you can draw on for forever for Joel.
Awesome to see. I mean, the game of golf needs Joel Dahmen. And we need Joel Dahmen playing well. He's a great character. Just really pumped for him. Just a little worried about his autograph yips and his parking yips.
Yeah, something else will come along the line soon. I can't wait to hear about it. But the autograph yips, there's worse things to have yips with than the autograph yips. At least you're signing them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Miss one of those putts on Friday or Sunday, you might not be signing that many next year.
Point.
Yeah.
But super proud of Joel. Good to see him, and always fun sitting down with him. Let's give a little football pick, what we're really good at.
Let's do it real quick because I mentioned I zoned in real quick, and it's important to note, Colt. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Underage sale is prohibited. Introducing Zone Nicotine Pouches, the perfect balance of unparalleled comfort, longer lasting flavor, and nicotine that satisfies. Whether you're zoning in for an important putt or zoning out after a tough day at work, Zone gets you there faster and keeps you there longer. Available in 7 flavors and in 6 and 9 milligram strengths. Find Zone at zonepouches.com and retailers near you. Own your zone with Zone Nicotine Pouches. And I'm owning my zone.
I like it. Good job. Mm-hmm. All right, let's get a little NFL pick going here. I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm going to go with it. My Dallas Cowboys catching 1.5 against the Carolina Panthers. Come on, Cooper Rush. Lead me to victory.
This is the one. This is the matchup the football world's been waiting for.
Adam Thielen, take it easy on my boys.
By the way, Bryce Young's starting to play
Better.
pretty good football.
Yeah.
I think his brain must have just been broken for a little bit. Now he's getting a little confidence. He's playing good. Should be noted, I gave a winner last week.
Oh, my God.
The Arizona State
Congratulations.
Sun Devils put the wood
They
to Iowa
smashed
State. Smashed. Scottaboo is fucking sick. So I think that ended like a 7 or 8 week schneid. So I'm back, and I'm going with a team that I'm very fond of. My boys battling for a playoff spot out of nowhere. Broncos -4.5 against the Indianapolis Colts. We're playing good ball.
Yeah.
I'm a believer.
Believer.
Always have been.
I
saw it from a mile away, dude. I evaluate QB talent. But Sneaky, by the way, could win the rookie of the year.
Him and Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, he's the last 6 weeks he's been a beast.
All right, well, we're both taking our teams.
Yeah, totally unbiased and just completely objective stuff based on gambling.
All right, well, that was a lot of fun. Sleaze, I'm going to bed.
Go get them. Your eyes are almost shut right now, but go get some shut eye.
I'm ready to go. That was a lot of fun. We'll talk to you on next week's Subpar.